chromium vanadium type spring steel. It's a similar alloy steel to 5150 steel with a small but effective vanadium addition to impart greater hardness in part. That should be in part. Hello and welcome. This is a drunken review of the Byzer Cloudhammer 51 CRV4 Super Special Steel Katana. He's sent to me by John at RVA-katana, and they wanted me to do some testing and give me the opportunity to give them some feedback about this sword. So right now, I would like you to know that of my disclaimer, I'm on my 4th Holsten, which by the way is a very good beer. So I'll be drinking that during this review while telling you about this sword. I'm going to assume that you're only going to watch this video for 1 minute, and I have that much time to get the information across to you. So what should I tell you in 1 minute? I haven't even cut anything with it yet, but even if I were to buy the sword and dull it down for an Aido, well worth the price, simply because the Tsuka shaping is excellent. I don't give a crap about anything the rest of the sword. The Tsuka shaping, the way that it just does this thing, it's amazing. So there's this fancy technique in Japanese whatever that's called enkasen, and it's this slight pulling, this slight circular elliptical motion to the end of the cut, and the shaping of this handle does that automatically. If you take a look at the fuchi, you see that the fuchi is too big. And there's people who would probably bitch about this like all day long. But I tell you what, man, as soon as you get this sword in your hands, the fuchi doesn't matter. The handle is so good that, like, just change the fuchi, get yourself a fuchi that fits, the handle, everything is good. Okay, I probably don't have very much left of your attention. I just want to tell you that this sword is pretty cool. I like it. It's got problems, absolutely. Fitment problems, whatever gaps and whatever stupid crap. I'll throw some pictures in there, like, please fix these things, but don't change the handle. To close this video, if I can get some cutting footage, I will happily throw that together. And what I'm hoping for right now is to be able to show you guys some super incredibly hard dowel rolls. Now these are like the tightest paper wrap dowel rolls I've ever made, and going into this beforehand, I do not expect these cuts to be successful. And like, I don't care if you say that this is a light sword, that's not the thing. It's the target. The target is too much. A heavy unokubi-zukuri would still have trouble with these targets. You know what I also feel like doing? I kind of feel like smashing the sword. Okay, wait. I'm going to wait until I'm sober. That's probably a better idea. And then I'm going to smash the sword into some 2x4s. Why? 51 CRV4. What does that mean? Now let's take a quick look. I gotta bring up my research papers here, so you guys gotta give me just a second to get my shit together. We're gonna look at some screenshots right now. Okay, I'm sorry, this is just taking too long. My computer is being slow. But here we are. We got some screenshots. Let's take a look at the carbon content. I'll try to highlight it here. 0.47 to 0.55. So this is where we get 51 is the carbon content. What does that even mean? Like, what does this mean? Basically what it means is that there's going to be 0.51% of carbon in this iron. That's what it means. So carbon makes it harder, you can get a better sharpening, yada yada. You can look up yourself all about what carbon does. Now I gotta wrap this up real quick because my pizza's almost ready, so let's just breeze through the rest of this real quick. Manganese, super important, look it up yourself. It's very important, it's excellent. Some tiny amounts of crap, let's not worry about that. Now let's get on to chromium and vanadium. A small amount of chromium doesn't really do much, but they add quite a bit. And in a lot of cases, what this can do is that it can increase the hardness, even in some cases, the flexibility, the blah, blah, blah. I'm not a metallurgist. I don't actually know these things. So let's just move on to vanadium here, which is something that I know a little bit more about. A small inclusion of vanadium has actually been common since like the 1900s because it does such amazing things to steel. It reduces and normalizes the grain size in the steel so that you can have a stronger, harder steel by having just a tiny, tiny bit of vanadium in there. Now, if we go back and we look at that carbon content, what was that, 0.51? That's not very much. But if you add a little bit of vanadium and chromium as well as that carbon, you can get a very significant hardness out of a steel. So they register it at 57 HRC, and my entire point is that, like, that's really cool that Byzer Cloudhammer is doing this and actually giving you steel that you would get in something like a 1990s wrench. Let's look more at 51 CRV4 steel while we're at it. Chromium vanadium type spring steel is a similar alloy steel to 5150 steel with a small but effective vanadium addition to impart greater hardness in part. That should be in part. Low distortion properties and is easily heat treated. Hold on. What does low distortion mean? If you say it has low distortion properties, what does that mean? Basically what that means is that it doesn't want to flex. Now for a sword steel, you do not want your sword to flex during your cut. You want it to stay stiff. So anyway, that's pretty cool. Easily heat treated. Spring steel, yada yada, oil hardening. Let's move on. When used in the oil hardened and tempered condition, 51 CRV4 spring steel combines spring characteristics with excellent resistance to both abrasion and shock. Hardened 51 blah 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 offers excellent toughness and shock resistance, which makes it a suitable alloy spring steel for parts exposed to stress, vibration, and shock. I think that's pretty cool, because that's exactly what a sword should do. It should be able to take stress, vibration, and shock. And hopefully I'll be able to test that for you guys, and mostly just for my own enjoyment, so that's basically that. Anyway, that's all I basically got for you about this sword at this point. I'd like to do some more testing, and I'll have more thorough kind of things going on later on. But I just figured, yeah, I'm on my fourth Holstein, and this was a good time to tell you about this sword. Thanks very much for watching, and have a good day.